Well, welcome back. I'm glad that everybody could come back and see me again. Today, we are going to make some pictures using pebbles, and this is one of them. Okay, hopefully you were able to see it early, however, let's see. This has all been finished and matted and framed. What we're going to do today is the preliminary or the beginning of our pictures. And first things you need to do is gather up some materials. So here are our pebble pictures, and what we need are some smooth flat pebbles, glue, and some heavyweight paper. So that's it. So pebble pictures, smooth flat pebbles, glue, and some heavyweight paper. So what we'll do is go ahead and pause this video and go outside, collect up a bunch of pebbles. You're probably going to want to clean them because you're going to get a bunch of dirt on there. So take them over to the sink, rinse them off, scrub them off if you have to. I've already gone out and done all that. So I have a big jar full of pebbles here. Okay, but you go ahead, go outside, grab a bunch of pebbles. They can be found at the edges of driveways, all over the place. Don't go digging in your mama's garden, though. She might get a little upset. Okay, so all you need to do is get a bunch of pebbles, clean them off, grab some glue and some paper, and I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. Alrighty, I hope you got everything together. We got a bunch of rocks here. I put down a regular piece of paper here just so I can see the design a little bit better before I put it onto my heavyweight paper. And I do have a smaller piece of paper it's a little heavier paper that I'm going to glue this down onto once we get the rocks the way that I'd like them. So I'm going to just spread out my pebbles here, spread them all out. Let's see what we can come up with. I don't really know exactly what I want to have happen first. I have an idea in my head of a scene, but that might not be what plays out when I get my pebbles, because I'm just going to spread them out. I'm going to look for things that are interesting, some nice shapes. Like this shape here, it's a nice long, thin, rounded pebble, and it'll sit down on the paper real nice. So that could be maybe a body or an arm. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be yet. Okay, but I like it. So I'm going to look for some more. Here's a big one that's very similar. Okay, you see how that's shaped? It's very similar in shape, only larger. So maybe I'll put these two together here. Let's turn that over so it lays flatter on the paper. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn them a little bit so you can see them a little better. Okay. Let's see. Now, the other one I had two people standing next to each other. Maybe I'll do the same kind of thing here. I don't know yet. I don't know if I have enough the pebbles in the right shapes. As I said, I just went out and I grabbed a bunch more pebbles. Here's some little tiny ones. I like the little ones because they make them look like heads. If that's a person and this is a person, this one's going to have to be a bigger head because it's a bigger body. So I'm going to look through these. Oh, there's a big head here maybe. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Big head. Little body, little head, bigger body, bigger head. Let's see. I have some other ones here. And I'm just looking through the pebbles, trying to find things that might work if I was to make two people. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to pull a bunch of these out, set them down here, see what they look like. Let's see. I have this idea that, like the last one that I showed you of a body and legs and a head, you really don't need to have all of the details in it to show what it is. This is a minimalistic type of project where the minimal amount of detail or the least amount of detail that you can get by with and still have your object look like what you wanted it to is what we're going for. Okay, let's see, that's awful big. Those would be some big legs. It's too big. No, don't want that. I don't know. Anyways, let's go through these. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this one. I like that. This shape is kind of like a teardrop. Let's see, if I turned it this way, does it look like? No. Maybe this way. Maybe I'll set that here like that. I don't know. I'm just, as I said, trying to get some of these pebbles together, give me some ideas as I go. These are close to the same size. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and pause on my end. I'm going to organize these a little bit, okay? And I'm going to put some small pebbles together, some medium pebbles together, some larger ones together. That way, when I look at them, I don't have this big mess. I can get an idea better of maybe some ideas of what I want to do. As I said, when we start these, it's all in the process, all in the creative process. I'm not sure what I want to do. I did one earlier with the two people and the dog looking up at them. It's just because I just happen to have the right pebbles for that. Okay, but this one I went out and I got all new pebbles, and we're gonna take a look. So I'm gonna pause my taping. I'm gonna get these organized a little bit, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. I've kind of organized these into three groups here. Some larger, flat, teardrop shapey kind of pieces. That doesn't belong there. Some kind of flatter, rounder, but oblong pieces, and some little pieces. Now, as I said, this is all about the creative process and going through the pebbles, looking for what you, I don't know, just looking at them, getting ideas, okay? So what was really neat is while I was separating these, while I was putting these into groups, I kept coming back to that teardrop shaped one. And I found a couple more and I went, you know what? This reminds me of something. Okay, so I put that there. Let's see, I'm going to put this one here. Let's see if I can find one that might. Let's switch this around. Put that on that side, that one that side. Okay, so now I've got kind of a body shape and two arms, kind of maybe. Let me move these down. See, I'm trying to look in the camera, make sure I got this going, okay? And then, you know, let's see. Let's find this one. I kind of like that roundy one. And I had these little tiny ones, okay? And if I put one on here, like, whoops, that's not going to stay, maybe. Maybe it'll stay here. There we go. Now this reminds me of a penguin. Okay, and I'm trying to move the camera here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so it kind of reminds me of a penguin. Okay, so I like that idea. Not sure if that's the idea I'm going to stick with, but I do like that idea. So as let's get that back where it belongs. There we go. All right, so as we go, let's see, I got one here. Maybe I'm going to make a little one. So I'm going to look for another stone that's real similar in shape. This one is that little teardrop shape again. But as you can see, it's a lot smaller. Okay, and if I'm going to make another penguin, I need to have some arms, so 2 arms on it. That's too big. That looks like a shark fin, so that's not going to work. I may not have some arms, so I might have to switch what I'm thinking about into something else. I don't know. And that is the fun part about this, is we never know what we're going to have until we are done with it. Okay. Here's a couple of those little black ones like I used for the heads, and things on the other ones. See, that's too big of an arm compared to that one. Let's see. That's too big. That's almost as big as the one. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Let's see what it looks like. I like that one. Maybe. So, anyways, let's just move on here. Once I get this to the way that I really want it, okay, so I know I like this penguin, okay, I like this penguin, so I'm going to move this guy out of the way, and these over. I'm going to put down a piece of green paper here, and this is just so that you can see this white paper better, okay, so I'm going to put that white one down here, and if I'm going to use this as a penguin, I'm going to move it onto the white paper. Okay. So there it is on the white paper. And whatever scene I come up with, maybe it's sitting on these rocks. Let's see, I'm trying to look for some longer rocks here like this. Okay. So maybe they're both sitting on these long rocks. I do like having a line of rocks at the bottom because that gives you some idea of it being down on the ground. If it was just here like this, it would be kind of like my penguins flying, and penguins can't fly. So just put that down, maybe a little tiny one down here to give it that. And maybe the little guy that I was thinking about is over here. Okay. And I need a head and a beak, don't I? Let's see. So, alright, well, I'm just going to set these here. Probably going to switch these because I don't like that one. That one I don't like at all. Okay, now I want to be careful on my paper not to get it all dirty and everything, because if I do, then my final project will look, well, dirty. Okay, anyways, so we have these down here, and I'm just going to take some glue now, and I'm going to start gluing these in place. Okay, and just take the glue, put it on the back. Come on, glue. There we go. Now we don't want too much, because we don't want it to squeeze out everywhere. All right, so there's one, down it goes. I think I'm going to turn that over so it lays flatter. There we go. So this side is the flatter side. Put some glue on there and plop it down. Okay, and I'm going to continue to do that with the rest of the pebbles. Glue these all down. Now, there's a couple of things that we could do a little different. Okay, we can use the white glue. Okay, and this works okay. All right, it's not horrible. You can use craft glue, which works a little bit better, or you could use hot glue. Now, I chose not to do the hot glue on this only because it's a little more difficult, and you got to watch your hands not to burn your fingers because you're working with such little tiny pieces that if you use the hot glue gun, then you would be taking the pieces and just putting a little bit on the rock, and I don't want you to burn your hands. Now, the more experienced person, a little bit older, who's got a little more understanding here, can put just a little bit on there. I just don't want you to burn your fingers, okay? And that's my whole concern, especially when we get to these little teeny weeny rocks, these little teeny weeny pebbles here. See how tiny that is? Now, if I'm trying to put hot glue on there, okay, it's as big as the tip of my hot glue gun, and I don't want to burn my fingers. So that's why I chose for this project to use the white glue, because get it on your hands, it's not a big deal. You just kind of wipe it off, okay? You get the hot glue on your fingers and you can burn yourself, so be very careful. I do have these really cool pairs of tweezers here, and what these do is they help me hold on to the little rocks like this, okay, so that when I'm doing the other one, I can actually put the hot glue on here and not worry about my fingers. So if you happen to have a pair of tweezers that would open big enough, you could use those. Now there's all kinds of things that we could do with this paper, okay, and I'm gonna move my camera again because, you know, that's the way it goes. All right, so on the paper here, I could have used watercolor paints and put in a sky or something and then put the little pebble people on it. But honestly, as I said, minimalistic. Minimalistic meaning less is more, okay? If you use too many rocks or too many pebbles, then you get too much going on and it just doesn't look as nice. Now, before I was to take and frame this, what I would do with this now, once I have everything glued down, is I could take a little bit of varnish and put on the rocks to make them so they're a little shiny, okay? If you don't have varnish, you can use other things. Glue will help you do the same thing. It'll give you a little bit of shine on there. So if you took a small paintbrush like this and a little bit of glue, and of course I got to move the camera so you can see things again, but I'm just going to show you. I put just a little dab of glue on there, and if I take that with my rock and just paint over my rock a little bit like this, okay, when it dries, it'll be shiny, and you can see that shine in there already, okay? So that's one way to get your rocks to be shiny. Or you could use, as I said, a little varnish or furniture polish, anything that's going to make it a little shiny, and that just helps people, when they look at it, be a little more attracted to it. Okay, so today we did pebble pictures. We used some smooth, flat pebbles, glue, and some heavyweight paper. And we created our own picture. And I hope that you go ahead and get a bunch of pebbles. You see how many I got. I got a bunch because I changed in the middle. I thought, I'm going to do some people. But it didn't look that way. When I started working, I found out penguins. Oh my heavens. Completely different than what I thought I was going to do. And that's okay. Remember, it's all about the process. When we start on a project, it may be one way, but when we finish, it might be something completely different. As long as we learn a little bit from what we've done, that's all that matters. All right? So have some fun, be creative, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, guys. Bye-bye.